Good afternoon, everybody. This is our fourth session for Aging Strong here at Kingsbridge's Seniors Month in June. This week we're celebrating physical activity, and we wanted to welcome our very special guest speaker. We have, who is a family member of a resident here at Kingsbridge, and we have Al McVicar, a physiotherapist here in Kingston at the hospital. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Karina. Good afternoon. My name is Alan McVicar, and I'm a physiotherapist in the ICU at KGH, now known as Kingston Health and Sciences Center. As part of the Aging Strong e-learning series, I will be addressing the importance of leading an active and healthy lifestyle as we continue to celebrate Seniors Month at Kingsbridge Retirement Home. At this point, I'd like to welcome all Kingsbridge residents, staff, and community people that are calling in. Wonderful to have you. And throughout my talk, I will discuss 6 different questions about aging strong, with a particular emphasis on a subject that is near and dear to most physiotherapists' hearts, which is exercise. Hopefully there'll be a few minutes at the end for the presentation where I can take some questions. I'd like to thank Kingsbridge Retirement Home for inviting me to participate in this educational series. And I'd also like to say a big hello to Ozzy and Florence Fisher, who are residents of Kingsbridge, who are my in-laws, and I hope you're watching. When my father-in-law Ozzy heard that I would be presenting today, he strongly encouraged me to lead off the presentation with a few jokes. Maybe you thought that if you didn't find me interesting, you may find me funny. Who knows? I have 2 jokes about exercise, and the first one is, instead of John, I call my bathroom the gym. That way it sounds better when I say, I go to the gym first thing every morning. And secondly, last evening I burned 1,200 calories when I forgot the pizza in the oven. Now on to the presentation. The first question I'd like to address is, what does aging strong look like for seniors as they consider physical activity? But before we can consider what aging strong is, we have to consider what we're up against. Generally speaking, there are physiological changes that occur with aging that include, but are not limited to, the following. Our heart function, we have age-related decreases in cardiac output and heart rate. There's a change with our lungs, we have decreased reserves. There's a change with muscular strength and endurance. There's a condition called sarcopenia, which is a loss of skeletal muscle mass as we age, which in turn affects our metabolism, our blood glucose levels, and the protection of vital structures such as bones, organs, nerves, and blood vessels. Furthermore, there's a change in flexibility. As we age, we generally get stiffer. Connective tissue, joints, ligaments, and muscles become tighter, and joints become stiffer. And our body composition also changes as we tend to accumulate more body fat coupled with a loss of bone mass. At this point of the talk, you're probably thinking, thanks for the good news, Al. Thought you were here to lift our spirits, give us some good encouragement, motivate us to lead an active and healthy lifestyle. Well, don't worry. There are things that can be done, and it begins with you. By engaging in exercise programs that include components of aerobic activity for our lungs, resistance training, and flexibility training, you will be able to offset these changes to a certain extent, which will ultimately improve your quality of life. Aging strong means that you are responsible for your own body and need to take care of it at your own pace. By picking activities and exercises that you enjoy, you will most likely stick with them, and you will create a lifetime habit. By being consistent with your exercise, you will enhance your overall health and have a better chance of recovering from illness faster than non-active seniors. Aging strong means setting small, reasonable goals that were outlined quite nicely in the past book that you put together. Wonderful resource. I think you should all look at it. That will help generate momentum and consistency, and consider it a bit of a stepping stone to achieving bigger goals and developing a healthier lifestyle for your future. Now, what impact might the pandemic have on seniors' physical activity and well-being? And you certainly don't need me to tell you about this aspect of life at this particular time. You are living through a very difficult time right now and have experienced firsthand the trials and tribulations of being quarantined. Let me say that I have so much respect for you all and truly admire the way that both residents and staff have handled the last few moments with grace and dignity. To not have access to family members, group activities, exercise classes must have been very challenging. So I would think physical activity would certainly look different during this time period. Things such as attending group classes outdoors, going to the gym, going to the pool. Your focus has shifted to keeping active in your room. I'm sure you had to be creative to ensure you stayed active. For example, you might have done yoga in your room. You might have done walking in your room or marching on the spot. You might have done calisthenics. You might have done body weight exercises. You might have done balance exercises, heel-toe walking, and you might have followed routines maybe that you previously followed with Karina or Haley in your group settings. Perhaps you followed online fitness classes. Perhaps you were dancing with your spouse or partner or friend in your room. You may have had some light dumbbells, weights, or an exercise ball. But ultimately, you created a routine that was consistent and realistic and manageable that had a positive impact on your mental health. And we shouldn't forget the significance of exercise and the release of hormones called endorphins, which will improve mental health. Not only will endorphins improve your mood, but will also reduce stress, ward off anxiety and feelings of depression, boost self-esteem, and improve your sleep. Speaking with Karina last week, it was great to hear that things are getting better now as far as the programs, as some of the restrictions are being lifted. And I understand that some of the activities and facilities are reopening with social distancing in place, of course, that will give you those opportunities to exercise out in the open in a group setting once again. Now, exercise is very important. A lot of us do it, but also it's very important to understand that there are risk factors that we should all consider when engaging in exercise, whether we're initiating a new program or maybe we're trying to be more aggressive with the program. There are things we absolutely should keep in mind. And the things are, for example, your heart. With a cardiac nature, you should think, are there situations that would prevent me from exercising or limit my exercise activity? Or do I have a condition such as angina, atrial fibrillation? Have I had a recent heart attack? Am I on medication to help my heart? Those are things that you have to be very careful with and obviously should be cleared through a physician. For example, if you're on a medication for your atrial fibrillation, that's a blood thinner, and you have a fall, it could have very serious consequences for you. So that's one thing that I would keep in mind. There's conditions with your lungs. You may have a condition such as COPD or asthma or emphysema or interstitial lung disease where your work of breathing skyrockets, your shortness of breath increases exponentially with minimal activity. So you need to know your limits and you need to know your triggers. Is really the hot, humid temperature going to make your breathing harder? Is the real cold weather also going to trigger bronchospasms? And how do you work your medications around your exercise time? So those are very, very important things to keep in mind. Falls. Are you at risk of having a fall because of poor balance? Do you need a walking aid? Do you have osteoporosis? You might be at a higher risk of having a fracture if you do have a fall and your balance isn't where it should be. If you have blood pressure issues, whether that's low or high, are you dizzy or lightheaded? Do you have vertigo? Those are all things that should be taken into consideration. For diabetics, it outlines it beautifully in the past book, talks about blood sugars, low or high, and making sure that you have that sweet spot, no pun intended, but trying to find that right spot for you to exercise where you're going to be safe to do so. Do you have different sensations in your feet, neuropathies? Are you wearing good footwear? As you know, we're not big fans of flip-flops and Crocs. Now, mind you, they might be comfortable to sit and lounge in, but certainly they can make for an unsafe situation. So look for a good enclosed heel with a good supportive sole. Do you have visual deficits? Are there hearing deficits? Those are things that you really need to take into consideration, as well as the caregivers that are working with you, and how do they alter their strategies to make it a more beneficial treatment and success session for you. And again, I mentioned earlier a bit about medication, but that's very important, making sure that the medication you're on does not preclude you from exercising, and making sure that it's timed appropriately around your exercise. I know you have wonderful staff, and I know that you pay attention to that very closely, but always important to keep in mind. And remember to always keep your doctor informed of your plans of exercising. And I understand with a lot of exercise classes that you may have a questionnaire, an activity questionnaire that is filled out prior to initiating something, which is an excellent idea, and that may flag a potential risk for somebody that wants to engage in the exercise session. I didn't really go into modifiable and unmodifiable risk factors. I didn't want to. I know I'm at a bit of a time limit here, but you can find out about them in the past book. But just briefly, there are things that you can control. I'll talk about the modifiable risk factors that are obviously part of lifestyle, things that you can control, habits such as smoking or engaging in a poor diet, having a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, and excessive alcohol consumption can all have very negative effects on your health. But with the effect of exercise, that can lower blood pressure, it can lower your cholesterol, it can reduce your stress, it will help you maintain a healthy body weight, and it will improve blood sugar levels. Again, these are all risk factors that we can control, and again, will increase our chances of success with an exercise program going forward. I'll move along now to the fourth question. What advice would I give to motivate a senior to look after their well-being? As I alluded to earlier, there are many benefits to either initiating or continuing on with an exercise program. It has been shown many times over in research studies that exercise can do the following. It can increase your bone strength. It can increase your bone density. It can increase your muscle mass. It can improve your cardiovascular fitness, and it can decrease your risk for diabetes and heart disease, and mitigate the effects of osteoporosis through weight-bearing exercises. At this point, I would like to place particular emphasis on how exercise can be paramount in improving balance and promoting fall prevention in seniors. And I'm sure it's a major element in the Kingsbridge retirement home, but over the years, I have seen catastrophic consequences of seniors having falls. Oftentimes, they suffer life-altering deficits that significantly affect their quality of life. The injuries can range from broken hips to broken bones in the back or head trauma. My advice, therefore, should be that any exercise program should include a balance component. And if more support is needed to mobilize safely, I would highly recommend a physiotherapist assess you for a walking aid such as a walker. Now, there are other devices as well, whether that's a two-wheeled or a four-wheeled walker. Does it have a seat? Does it have a basket, brakes? Do you need a cane? Do you need a quad cane? Or perhaps maybe you should be in a wheelchair most of the time. But those are all things between the PT and the OT and the staff at Kingsbridge, you can make those decisions. For those seniors that have physical impairments and are unable to walk freely and independently, there are always ways to modify exercises either in a chair, in bed, with the assistance as needed. And speaking with you, Karina, last week you were mentioning that the VON have a program where they come in a few times a week and they help with exercises with the patients. So I was happy to hear that. But on a personal note, I can say that my father-in-law had a stroke almost 2 years ago that left him with decreased use of his right side. And up until the lockdown occurred, he was following an exercise program in which he had assistance moving his right arm and leg through range of motion, while he performed active range of motion and resistance exercises with his left arm and leg. He was doing what he can with what he had. and he did very well. And I'm happy to say that my father-in-law, Ozzy, just celebrated his 90th birthday 3 weeks ago, and I would say that he is aging strong. If you still weren't convinced to exercise based on the aforementioned benefits, I might recommend joining a group class when those restrictions ease. I think to have the camaraderie and the support and encouragement from others is wonderful. I think that is also another option for you to pursue rather than just performing exercises on your own. You have a similar goal and you have common views and beliefs that you all want to make yourself stronger and fitter for the long run. Another thing that may convince patients to exercise a bit more is by offering rewards. As far as exercise 3 days a week this week, next week it'll be 4, and try and exercise for 80% of the month, which will be documented, and you would receive a gift card. I can talk a little bit more about that in the future questions. Question number 5, what does success look like? And I feel like success is being the best version of yourself day in and day out. And I think success is knowing that we value seniors and appreciate all that seniors have to offer. And I know that you all contribute to the Kingsbridge retirement community and have a lifetime of experiences and knowledge to share with others. You are a precious commodity that will continue to age strong despite living through a pandemic. Success is recognizing the importance of trying to do all the right things in the pursuit of an active and healthy lifestyle. And you want to be strong in body, mind, and spirit. Success is finding activities that are enjoyable in order to pursue this mindset. So how does a person have fun with this? How do they have fun with exercise and fitness and keeping themselves pursuing a healthy lifestyle? I have to say that I think Kingsbridge Retirement Home is doing all the right things. And from what I've seen and from what I've heard from family members, you have it all there, and you have a number of different activities that would pretty much appeal to anyone. I highly encourage residents that have not pursued any of those activities to do so, or to at least inquire about them and what might fit your personal lifestyle. It's amazing, and I think it's such a great situation where that's all offered under one roof. And I think you're at quite a bit of advantage, actually, to a lot of seniors that live on their own and they don't have access to that. They may have a little bit, they might have home care coming in periodically, but to have that under one roof in a structured, organized manner is amazing. But I have to be realistic here. In order for a good exercise habit to be sustainable in the long run, it must be an enjoyable activity for you. And if you dread doing it, you're not going to do it. But there are many ways that you can get low impact exercise, and many of these are offered at Kingsbridge. So this may not be news to you, but swimming, why is swimming so great? Well, it relieves the stress on your bones and joints and conditions your whole body as you move through the water. It also has a lower risk of injury than many other exercises, and that can even help postmenopausal women avoid bone loss. You get a cardiovascular exercise training session, and you get the strength training. And basically with the resistance of the water, whether you move slow or fast, you can alter your resistance. You have the buoyancy of the water that's going to support and protect you and keep you in a very safe environment for you to get stronger and fitter. I know gardening, another activity that's offered through Kingsbridge. You're digging in the dirt, watering the plants, weeding, and other gardening activities will work your entire body. Plus, you're getting the fresh air. You may want to encourage using a stool to protect your back and knee, but I'm sure that's covered at Kingsbridge. Yoga, another great activity, also offered at Kingsbridge. And I can also say that both my mother-in-law, Flo, and my wife, Lisa, have been in with both Karina and Haley and enjoyed it very much. Very peaceful, relaxing, and great way to reduce stress and anxiety. They felt so much better following the session. They loved it, especially the meditation aspect of it. Walking, you can't go wrong with walking. One of the best low impact endurance exercises. Again, right shoes and footwear, making sure you stretch after to protect your muscles that you've just worked to prevent injury. Group stretching exercises or group strengthening exercises within reason, using dumbbells or bands or balls. I know that you have an exercise room. It's quite impressive. You have a few exercise machines as well, but making it fun. Group sessions, having music. Music is amazing to exercise to. I mentioned briefly about the fitness awards for goals achieved, or you might have the Fit Resident of the Month that you do a write-up every month in the newsletter, and giving encouragement, recognizing seniors' effort in providing a positive and energetic environment, which I know happens at Kingsbridge. In conclusion, it is important to keep in mind that you need to be consistent, you need to start small, you need to go slowly, and there are basically about 4 or 5 points that I'll just wrap up with here. Exercise is useful for maintaining and optimizing fitness in seniors. 2, the musculoskeletal system is improved with a balanced program of aerobic, resistance training, and flexibility exercises. 3, seniors who have remained physically active do not undergo a decline in fitness to the same extent as those who have been inactive. 4, despite aging, seniors can experience positive changes in their health similar to that of younger adults. And 5, and most importantly, have fun. Thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. And I want to wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And please, please, please continue to age strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Al. That's great advice. And you're absolutely right. We have a lot of fun at Kingsbridge. Haley and Karina, I don't know, they just have so much energy, and that energy passes on to the rest of us. So we are very enticed by the programs that they have for exercise. Does anyone have any questions? If you have a question, you need to unmute your screen.
Well, mine all technical. I'd like to know how to put this all together. I think it's super.
We'll talk about that after.
Well, that's my point.
Barry just said this was super.
Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate your feedback and your comment. Thank you.
Al, I've been working with seniors for over 30 years of my career. And what I have noticed is that the trend is that seniors are getting that message. The messages that you have shared with us today, seniors are better at participating. They're more proactive. The attendance in the classes that we offer is fantastic. Certainly, we are able to offer a diverse array of different kinds of programs, and that has been, I think that has been enticing too for seniors. But there's also that camaraderie that you mentioned, that if your friend's going to fitness class and she's loving it, then you're going to be drawn to that too, because you don't want to miss out. So I'm really pleased to see that trend, because we're aging longer. We are aging stronger. We have moved the needle. We have, in the past 15 years, we're now living approximately 4 years longer than the previous generation. So that's pretty phenomenal. And are you seeing that because you have years of experience in physiotherapy?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. I think they are getting the message. And I find that from my personal experience working as a physio here in the ICU, I noticed that the patients that come in, a lot more are involved in community programs and are taking care of themselves. And it certainly pays off in the long run. They do tend to recover quicker than patients that haven't engaged in that. And even one day of bed rest, you lose a significant amount of muscle mass. And so it's so important that the fitter you are, the better chance you have of recovering. It's an investment in your future, your quality of life. And for me, it is really heartbreaking when we have patients come in and that they haven't taken care of themselves for a variety of reasons. but fitness hasn't been at the top of the priority list, and they struggle, and ultimately they don't have a great outcome, and I don't think they have a great outcome long term. So if you can just think about, you get out of it what you put into it. It's an investment in your health. It's well worth it. It will certainly pay off. I can guarantee it because I see it on a daily basis. So you're right. Thanks, Tammy.
Yeah. Are there any more questions from the group?
The residents that are here are the ones that go to fitness every single day, sometimes twice a day.
Wow.
Oh, she was wondering if you could tell us. So we do a drum fit class. Have you heard of drum fit using your, no? You're on mute.
I haven't, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah, so we use drumsticks to drum onto chairs, and then there's also the component, I guess you would say, of moving your arms and your legs all at different times. And she was wondering what you think that the benefits of a drum fit program might be.
Great question, and I would personally sign up for that class. Many benefits to that. If you think about doing a drum fit, about the way that you're moving your arms, let's just take your arms for starters. If you were in a geriatric rehabilitation unit, they may have you doing an arm ergometer, which is using a bicycle for your arms, which is great for obviously muscle tone and building up strength and endurance, and it is a heart-related exercise. But it's also doing more than that. If you're incorporating your legs, amazing, because you're getting the major muscle groups, which obviously is going to take more stress off your heart, but very, very important for moving a lot of blood throughout your body. And then you're looking in at the balance and coordination and the hand-to-eye. Is incredible. I mean, I think it would be a very enjoyable thing, and it probably goes by very quickly. And especially if you can get into a certain rhythm, it's great. So there are many benefits of it. I think you have the aerobic, you have the bit of strengthening and some coordination. So well done. I think it's great.
I'll mute myself. On behalf of everyone, we want to thank you for your time. We certainly appreciate your expertise, and we take your words of wisdom to heart, and we will stay shiny side up, as they say, as well as we possibly can, because we will stay active and age strong at Kingsbridge.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.